You are welcome to another episode of LFN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are again featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. We have time and again heard of R. Kelly accusers who even after lying to him they were 18 and over to trap him into being with them still expect him to pay them restitutions and hundreds of thousands of dollars, in addition to serving a 31-year sentence in prison as punishment for the alleged crimes. While these accusers may think minors are not accountable in any way, they are wrong. Minors over the age of 12 can also be charged with perjury to the same extent as they can be charged for several other crimes. And under the U.S. statute, it's a crime to knowingly and willfully make any materially false statement concerning any matter within the jurisdiction of the United States, even when it's not done under oath. So just in case these now mature women did not know, their act of lying to R. Kelly that they were of age only to turn around later and declare war against him suggesting he took advantage of them is considered a crime and is punishable by law. It makes matters worse if the culprit is still making an effort to tell even more lies as an adult, and R. Kelly accusers have so far been the champions of this deceitful tendency ever since the case against him began. In Jennifer Bonjean's appeal submission to court, as she challenges the government's attempt to have R. Kelly charged with racketeering allegations, she narrates the story of how Jerhonda met with R. Kelly outside the courthouse back in 2008 and told him she was a fan of his, and how she had been stalking him all the time hoping to convince him to be with her. In her narration, she mentions how Jerhonda shamelessly lied to R. Kelly she was 19 years of age and therefore legal to date him while at a party which she had attended with one of her friends. Jerhonda only remembered to reveal to R. Kelly she was not 19 as she had told him before after the two had already transgressed into a sexual relationship. But this was never disclosed to any other person. Just like Azriel and her parents had successfully lied to Robert their daughter was 18 and therefore legal, Jerhonda Pace had succeeded into enticing R. Kelly into a relationship and not the other way round as commonly alleged. Meanwhile, returning to the appeal's purpose for this story by Bonjean, the fact that this information was never shared with anyone else at the party, or with anybody that R. Kelly worked with disqualifies the claims of racketeering as one man alone cannot constitute an illegal enterprise. Clearly the government failed miserably when it came to proving the existence of an enterprise to back their racketeering allegations. How Judge Ann Donnelly and her team of 12 jurors managed to find him guilty on these counts as well leaves us only bewildered and thinking, what exactly does this honorable judge have against R. Kelly? But then we remember that these jurors promised to do exactly this during the jury selection process. Many of them said they had a problem with defendants convicted of sex crimes and would not promise to be fair in such circumstances. And a number of them went as far as mentioning examples of people they detested the most, naming Jeffrey Epstein as the person they least admired in society. With all these signals at jury selection, we cannot be surprised that this team of wrongly selected jurors proceeded to prejudice R. Kelly, determining him guilty of racketeering in such controversial circumstances. The confusion that comes with this case against R. Kelly is its single-sided nature that only demands accountability from one party and not the other. The court system in conjunction with the government prosecution have made it appear as though it's okay for a 17-and-a-half-year-old to lie to a man that she is an adult in order to convince him to be with her. What makes the R. Kelly case even more unique and disturbing is the fact that at some point, even the parents who were adults of sound mind were involved in this age scam that saw R. Kelly fall prey for their blackmail and extortion interests. The fact that in some circumstances these women carried identity cards that suggested they were adults make the case even more complicated. Why should a man be charged for indulging with a woman that carries an ID that shows she is 18 and over? The incident at a hotel that saw police officers check and verify Azriel's ID as legitimate even made matters worse. If the police couldn't determine that Azriel was 17 and a half, why would anyone expect R. Kelly to know? Even if we assumed minors have a right to lie to everyone they find about their age to get what they want, what about the parents who were involved as evident in the text messages Azriel's mother Alice Clary exchanged with her daughter, advising her on how to seduce R. Kelly and get him to be with her knowing well she was not yet 18. She technically pushed her to be with him and even advised her to lie she was 18. Alice Clary also messaged Robert pretending she was Azriel, making it even more difficult for him to know that he was dealing with a 17-and-a-half-year-old, considering Alice Clary's conversations were phrased as would be expected of an adult woman. Now that we know the court also understood well Jerhonda Pace had lied about her age, we cannot help but wonder why they still managed to punish R. Kelly to the extent they did, issuing him the maximum penalties for misdemeanors he never intended to commit, and manufacturing charges that were completely alien to his case, such as the RICO and Mann Act only aimed at maximizing his stay in prison. The decision by court to ignore all other incidences that could have led to these events and focus on unfairly charging R. Kelly is evidence of prejudice in our Department of Justice. Even murderers who did not intend to commit the crime get lesser charges such as manslaughter, which carry reduced sentences. Why would a man who unintentionally ended up with an underage woman because he was lied to by both woman and parent be given an indirect life sentence? For God's sake, there is sufficient evidence to prove R. Kelly was led to believe they were adults, but this has all been ignored. There is no way R. Kelly would still be in prison if the justice system paid for by our taxpayers' money was fair. The judges ought to know that we do not pay them to offer selective justice to some people, while denying the others a chance to even a fair and timely trial. We are not blind and we can see the injustice. These women not only lied to R. Kelly but also to the courts of law from time to time. And even as adults, they have been all over social media telling one different story after another. They are just not consistent enough for the court to take their word as gospel truth enough to be used as conclusive evidence. According to Esther, while many have mentioned girls referring to R. Kelly's accusers, none of these women was a girl. The media is simply telling lies as these women were adults. Azriel, for example, was not a child by law. Her father Angelo was a criminal and she stole a lot of money from R. Kelly amounting to over $300,000. Sadly, for all this they were granted immunity. Faith was an adult too and a willing participant in this. We also know the government coerced some of them with money to testify against Robert. If you wish to take part in a live interview discussing any of these topics, let us know by sending an email to lfnmedia15@gmail.com for scheduling. Thank you for watching today's video, a production of LFN Media, giving you another perspective of issues at hand. We make it our business to keep you updated with the truth amidst the cloud of lies the media wants you to believe. It is therefore important to subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon and allow all notifications so that you don't miss out whenever we publish a new video.